Hey YouTube family and friends, it's been a long time since I recorded a personal YouTube message, and I thought I'd start with the day that I became a TV extra. Now, it's been a year ago since I was a TV extra, but when I started my master's degree journey last summer, my YouTube journey was intended to be a way to pay for that. Well, that didn't really happen, and now that the master's degree is wrapped up, I can still try to rehash my YouTube dreams and aspirations. Paid for the master's degree out of my own pocket, and now that it's finally almost finished, I have two more big hurdles to cross. I'm ready to start making YouTube videos again. And I thought I'd start with the day I was a TV extra. It was last summer. It was June last summer, and I'll tell you all about it, and specifically how much money I made on that day of being a TV extra. I didn't make the video last summer because I was scared. I had to sign this NDA and say that I wouldn't talk about it, and I'm only going to give you the snippets. I won't give you specific details. I don't even know if I should tell you what show it was, but the show is about to come out on Netflix. It was filmed by Stars. It was taken over by Netflix. It's a show called The Hunting Wives. It comes out on July 21st. And my role, of course, as a TV extra was very small and insignificant, so I doubt that I'll even make the cut. Who knows? It was a fun way to spend teacher time off of school and out doing real world stuff, I guess, being a TV extra. So let me tell you about it. I had first gotten interested in becoming a TV extra, 2008, maybe 2009, when The Hunting Games was being filmed in North Carolina. And that process, I don't know how I found out about it, probably social media somewhere. And I applied to do it. And I remember back in those days, we had to go to like the mall, Concord Mall or something. And we were sitting out just waiting to be called. And I think we had to bring a picture. I don't even remember. But I just remember being at the mall and sitting there forever waiting. And there was a friend of mine who I ran into there who had been a TV extra in other shows and had a lot of experience with it. So it was fun to chat with her. Her name was Peyton. And I haven't seen Peyton in a long time. But neither one of us were chosen. I didn't get to be an extra in the Hunger Games, despite the fact that they filmed a bunch of them. But I joined Facebook groups that had the casting information. And ever since then, I've been checking up on it, right? So last summer, was June 11th was the day. Well, I would imagine on June 9th, I saw the casting call. I was like, oh, I can show up for that. And they needed a pickup truck, and I drive a truck. So I think that's probably the primary reason why I was chosen. What they want you to do is submit 2 photos, and they have to be recent photos. There are explicit instructions. They want 2 photos, one of your face and one full body. So being a teacher in the summertime, I didn't have something to hold my camera, so I had to figure that out. I took it on my back porch. I was wearing like sweatpants and a tank top, nothing fancy, because I figured, well, if they're gonna take me, they're gonna take me as I am. And then a face shot, and the face shot says no filters, no extras, no glasses, none of that, no sunglasses. So sent the pictures in and said I'd drive a pickup truck. And the next day, I got the message that I was being called for duty. The next day, it was a Monday or a Tuesday, I showed up. I was supposed to get there at 11:30. And in the additional instructions are bring 3 items of clothing, bring 3 outfits, and just have different options. So I met with a friend and got some options because my instructions were we're going to be at a cowboy bar, a country bar, right? And I don't, number 1, go to bars much. Number 2, have a lot of country outfits. I do have the boots and the jeans, but I didn't have a top. So I borrowed a top. And when you show up, so I got there, and you have to park. I had to park far away from the filming. And they do have a shuttle. They did have a shuttle. I didn't take it. I just walked. But that was an option. So I walked back and noticed there's tons of people lined up waiting to check in. So when I checked in, they sent me to wardrobe, and they go through your stuff. Wear this, wear this, wear this. Don't wear this, jewelry, stuff like that. And from there, they sent me to hair and makeup. Now, I don't have long hair, so they didn't really have to do anything with my hair. And I was wearing a hat. So I was wearing a cowboy hat. I didn't have to do anything with my hair. That was easy for me. Some of the girls, of course, were getting their hairs done and getting makeup and this and that, the other. And I might look like a guy in it. I don't know. I have short hair, have a hat on. I could have looked like a guy. I have no idea. But I don't even know if anybody will see me. So I'm not real concerned about that. And if I was concerned, I guess I wouldn't be a TV extra. When I reported for duty, so let's say 11:30, and of course I got there a little bit early, but by noon, I don't know, let's say 1 o'clock, I was done with all of that process. So from there on, really, all I did was sit around and talk to other people and learn more about the TV extra trials and tribulations. A lot of people who had been in this situation before. And luckily, I had brought my Kindle with me. So I basically sat in the sunshine. It was June. It was a pretty day. It was a little warm. And I read all day. So I had brought a water with me, but by the end of the day, that was getting empty. So they did bring out like a big jug of water, and they brought out snacks like cookies and trail mix and even some gum, I think. So, and fruit. So there's options there. But I'm a sort of person who needs to eat like every 2 or 3 hours. So I remember being hungry, hanging out and like, God, when are they going to bring food? So finally they did bring food, and they had some sort of like catered dinner, and it was like chicken breasts and maybe pork chops. I don't know. And lots of different sides, and then like brownies and cookies and stuff like that. By the time I finally got to eat, it was like running out and it was adequate. We'll put it that way. By the time I left, I was very hungry and very thirsty. So the first stop I made was to the gas station to get a Gatorade. I'm going to say probably from about 2 o'clock on, though, all I did was sit around and talk to other people and read. And I can't tell you what I read because it must not have been a very influential book. I don't remember what I was reading at the time. But the dinner was great. And shortly after that, we got called into the bar itself. So from there, in the bar, I was in several different locations. There was a band on stage, and of course they had this canned music that the band was pretending to play, and they'd play it over and over and over and over, and that got a little bit tedious, but I guess that's the life. At one point, I was sitting at a table with another woman from small town in North Carolina. Don't remember where. She was very nice. When you're in the bar, too, we had these fake glasses, and there was red Solo cups, and I had a beer bottle, and it was a glass beer bottle, but it didn't have anything in it. But I had to kind of pretend that I was drinking it and not put my mouth on it and all that, because you put it back when you're done. And I'm sure they reuse these props. So I went from the table where I was having a conversation, and you have to pretend that you're talking. You can't outwardly talk. You have to quietly talk if you're going to talk. And at this table, I was very far away from the main action. The main actresses were seated at a table having a conversation. I couldn't tell you what it was. I couldn't tell you who the actresses were. I never really even got a good look at them. But they were at a high top table having a conversation. So I moved from that table up to the bar. And of course, they're still filming, I assume, the same scene. I don't know. So from the bar, I was standing next to a couple guys, and we're chit-chatting and carrying on, only pretending. And then I got relocated right behind the main actresses in their conversation. And I don't know who they were. One of them had really nice, pretty red hair. But that's about all I could tell you about them. My back was to them, and I was dancing and acting like I just heard the best joke of my life and just carrying on, just pretending that we're having a blast at the bar. And that was pretty much my job as the TV extra for the day. It was a lot of fun because I didn't know what to expect. It was my first time. And, well, I guess we'll see what happens with it. The Hunting Wives comes out July 21st on Netflix, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. Now, if you're curious about the kind of money that sitting around in the sun reading a book will get you, and then finally pretending that you're having an awesome time, well, I'm sure they told me how much money I'd make per hour, and I was there maybe 10 hours. I didn't get home till about midnight. and I had to report at 11:30. So I guess that's more than 10 hours. But I got the check right here, and that's what inspired this video, was because I was cleaning out my junk drawer and I found this check. It's like, oh yeah, I never made that video. So I made $109.74. I got it in a check, mobile deposited it, which is why it was still in my junk drawer. And there it is. So less than a week later, I was getting paid for standing around and pretending I was at the bar. If this is something that interests you, you can. My recommendation is to join Facebook groups that just do a search for casting calls or things like that. Find ones that are in your area. They're filming a bunch in Atlanta. I recently got one for the Outer Banks. They're filming near Charleston. I couldn't get involved in that one just because of timing, and I don't have a place to stay in Charleston. I'd have to stay with family in Wilmington, and it's a little bit too far away. They were filming something in Wilmington also, but I didn't fit the category they were looking for. They were looking for men that were like between 18 to 25 or something like that. You know, when they do the casting call, they say what they're looking for. Sometimes they're looking for twins, sometimes mother and daughter, and that'd be kind of fun to do, but I don't fit those categories either. I know the Righteous Gemstones, if you've watched that show, they filmed a bunch near Charleston also, and they needed loads of people to be like in the church crowds. I never did apply for any of those. That would have been a fun one to be a part of. The filming, I mean, I was involved in filming maybe for 5 hours, and we'll see if I made the cut. Now, if that is something of interest to you, like I said, join the Facebook groups. They're filming a bunch in Atlanta, and have a good time with it. If you like what I have to share, I plan on making a video of my recent trip to New Orleans and maybe some more of our travels to New Mexico and other places in this big wide world and Japan. So that's what's coming up.